Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to the alpha for Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy. As today, our investigation has gone a tiny bit off the rails, but you know, we'll just keep following the twists and turns and see where they take us. Not really seeing any clues or anything as to which direction we should go, so I guess we just trial and error? Oh, okay. Well, we got some weird pathfinding there. Clicking too far down the corridor turned us around, which I don't think was intentional, but also would have put us out here anyway, so no real harm done. Oh, wait. Well, that looks conspicuous. Guess we'll go into the light. Oh, yeah, map just reset ahead of us. We're definitely headed the right way. Oh, there we go. Death is at your shoulder. There is no hope. Every second prolongs the agony. The star is rising. The world is doomed. This is your fault alone. Nothing can be saved. Suffering is the lot of humanity. Great. You'll love to hear it. Hey, Persephone, Aratus, my fellow acolytes who may or may not still be alive. Familiar spherical patterns. They are generated by the crystal in the center. Oh, interesting. Okay, you know, we already kind of suspected it after we found that half a tech priest, but this does seem to confirm it. The source of the circular depressions we found at the excavation site are these crystals, suffused with warp energy, found in the ruins beneath Merisportum. Though I do still question whether or not we are, in fact, under Merisportum right now, and not somewhere else entirely. Which might... I mean, we found a dead worker in Confessor Ursimus's sanctuary, so I mean, that implied he captured them. But that didn't actually update our clue board, whereas this stuff is, so I mean, that might imply that the workers were actually teleported away by the crystals, and Confessor Ursimus, I guess, just ended up with, like, one random worker? We have not actually found any workers here thus far. The only thing we did find was half a tech priest. Oh, well, that... Well, would you look at that? That was quick. Come on, Nardo. Pull yourself together. You mustn't eat him. But I'm so hungry. This is a dream. A bad dream. This place only gives you bad dreams. Let me out! In the Emperor's name, I beg you! Let me out! Once I'm dead, the lads can live a bit longer off the meat. Hope it happens soon. My blood is flowing backward. Why? Why does my heart beat in reverse? That is a good question. Ah, here we go. Worker Zarev and Worker Marco. Come on, Mardo. You know there's no other way to survive. No one's been here for at least 200 years. Get it? Stop talking nonsense, Zarev. I don't care if a mine collapse was the only thing that kept you from butchering your fellow workers for food. The rest of us still have a shred of honor left. The figures are slightly translucent, resembling a surprisingly clear hololithic projection. Neither the people involved in the debate, nor the rest of the group, seem to notice you. Your hand goes right through the figure, causing the individual to shiver as if from cold. The sight of it makes the servo auger buzz frenziedly, as if it is trying to analyze the captured phenomenon in vain. Hey, can you, hear me? The man with the rodent-like face flinches and addresses the group. Hey, can you hear me? I'm telling you, we gotta survive in the name of the God Emperor. And Mardo wants us to die like cowards. Are they really here? Is this another illusion? The servo herald is silent for a few moments before it utters a short, binaric trill. Surroundings analysis unavailable. Moving signatures detect. A surge of interference abruptly cuts off the servo skull's speech. Right. So what's going on here? The heavy-set man, whose name is Mardo, half closes his eyes, making it look like he's straining to hear something. What's happening here? Yeah, we're in a tight spot, but so what? Does that mean we should get at each other's throats like wild animals? The next moment, he looks around in bewilderment, as though trying to understand what has gotten into him. There's a way out of this, get it? We've been here for how long, and nobody knows how much longer it'll be. Here's the deal. We draw lots. If the God Emperor don't favor you, then that's just how it is. But if he protects you, then you've got the best chance of lasting until help comes. The hunger's driven you mad, Zarev. We ain't mutants or damned heretics to eat each other. United, with faith in the God Emperor, we will endure. Oh, interesting. Okay, so clearly another binary choice to either back Mardo or Zarev, Heresy or Dogma. But, much like the previous two choices, it feels like this is yet another test. Though in this particular case, we didn't get any sort of visible skill check to determine that it is in fact fake. Which might imply that either A, it's real, or B, that there was a hidden check that we simply failed. But given that the precedent seems to be that all of these are fabricated trials, I feel like our best bet might be to hang back and see what happens? Question mark? The crowd remains tensely silent, staring intently at Mardo and Zarev. Suddenly, Zarev smirks and lowers his eyes. Then, in the next moment, a crude blade gleams in his hand. Ah, okay, well, not ideal, but, this is just the alpha, so I guess I won't feel too bad about that. Now we know for the future. Also, interesting that originated from Inquisitor Detarl, or the fake one, whatever was posing as him earlier. The crystals sprouting through the bodies cannot conceal the wounds upon them. Wounds made by human teeth. Right. The crystal seems to have erupted through the victim's mouth, along with their final scream. Ah, well, I don't know if any of this is real, but that would certainly imply that eating the other workers didn't really work out the way that Zarev hoped it might. Speaking of whom, crystal-covered data slate. I am Sarov, and I will survive. Our whole work crew fell down here. There were 30 of us. Mardo was the foreman. I will survive. The lads from the tunneling team died first. Mardo ordered their bodies dragged to the side. I saw how everyone looked at the corpses. I looked at them the same way. I will survive. Then the supplies ran out. We didn't have much to begin with, and then they were completely gone. We ate the synth leather first. Then we stuffed our bellies with cloth to curb the nausea. I will survive. Then came the talk. Mardo, the fool, said to endure, as if we hadn't endured enough in our whole lives. No more of that. We'll survive. We had a feast with the dead right away. Evan was tough. Mariska had some foulness inside her. We threw that part out. Survive. I'm the only one left. Protect me, Blood Emperor. I killed them all for you. They had no faith. I mean, that feels pretty on the nose. That's very corny. The purple crystals kind of give off a more Tzeentchian vibe, though. The bones have transformed into crystals and burst clean through the body. One can only hope it happened after death. I mean, based on what we've seen thus far, I'm gonna say probably not. Though Zarov's body was still pretty intact. And once again, the map has changed. This is where we used to have that teleporting crystal. Oh. The roots will accept you, sister, no matter what the Shapers say. When I die, absorb my strands. It will make you stronger. I know it. There was never another path. This is the way the leaves fall. This is how we grow. Sleep. The pain will be over soon. Interesting. Okay, I said it before, but I'll repeat. This is very reminiscent of the Stairway to Nowhere in our Rilu's lab back in Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. A potential glimpse into our companions' pasts. Though again, we don't know if we can actually trust what we're seeing, though I imagine it is something that we'll ultimately be able to ask our companions about. So even if it isn't entirely accurate, it would at least give us a potential in to learn more about them. I assume we've got the rest ahead of us here somewhere. Oh, yep, there we go. They didn't survive, Devo. Accept it. You may mourn your comrades after the mission is complete. You know what, Inquisitor? Go to the Void. Agent Devo, I recommend you watch your words. Either you obey the order, or I shoot you right here, like a rabid beast. Harsh. But understandable, I suppose. Sorrow! Sorrow. Save us from the defilement of the unclean, from the schemes of thine enemies, and from the curses that plague humanity. Grant us the strength to expose and destroy those who reject thy light, the vile Xenos, the loathsome mutants, the abominable sorcerers. Smite the cursed sorcerer, God Emperor. Smite me and erase my name from the annals, so that it may not stain the perfection of your creation. I beg you, I implore you, do not leave me without an answer. Do not leave me alive. Oh, boy. Sorry, buddy. That is a lot to unpack. But also not surprising. Oh, and Cog, who was conspicuously absent in the first area. You performed admirably, 0118B. We will put you forward for a special citation. Are you reinforcement? You're too late. The bugs chewed up the guardsmen already. I wanted to shoo them away, but the bugs was too small. You gives it a go. They fell in battle, and the Emperor will honor their sacrifice. Now get in the transport. Don't keep us waiting. Ah, poor Cog. Bounced between squads, treated more as equipment than an individual. Again, that does track. I mean, he is literally Imperial property. A peony? It was you who released the Void Plague in the Von Putricier estate on Quadus, was it not? Why, Acolyte Spess? I was not present at their estate, and I am prepared to provide numerous pieces of compelling evidence to prove it. Correct. You are well prepared. Fortunately for you, heretical texts were found in the Von Putricier's possession, so we will consider your actions preemptive. Interesting. Yeah, Millie did imply that a peony used to work for her at one point, prior to being transferred to another Inquisitor. Alpha 3 plus level energy source detected straight ahead. Recommendation: additional protection for the Acolyte upon approach. Noted. Anything else you can tell me about what might be ahead? Based on the collected data, the Acolyte is located in... The servo herald breaks into a screeching noise and falls silent. Right, of course. Don't suppose you've been able to restore communications with anyone? Function blocked by incoming unrecognizable litanies. Sacred protocols forbid the deciphering of this type of code. Yeah, that's fair. Guess we just keep moving forward. Hope for the best. Your reflection in the crystal is behaving strangely. At first it is subtle, but then it begins to move of its own accord, more and more boldly, all the while staring insistently into your eyes, as if in defiance. I had known that sooner or later I would have to face myself. A crooked smile twists your lips. I had been clever enough to grasp the true nature of this place. Enough already. I've seen through your tricks from the start. What's the point of trying again? Your reflection answers with a vaguely familiar snarl. Had all the tricks been deciphered by me? Perhaps yes, perhaps no. Ever since I had stepped beneath the crystalline vaults of this reality, I had seen through every illusion and mask. I expected something of worth and reward, a secret of arcane knowledge which I could wrest from the clutches of the delusion that surrounded me. All that remained was to give an answer. Was I prepared to accept it? You want me to answer that? Then I'll need some answers of my own. Where are we? What is this place? The question surfaced in my mind only a second before the answer. I already knew, after all, that I stood in the realm of those who had once tormented this world, whose power continued to seep through the ages and the very bedrock, subjugating mortals again and again, with the influence of inexhaustible mechanisms fed by the warp itself. No force in the universe could erase the trace of that vanished civilization. yet an attempt to comprehend it could still be made. What have you done with the rest of my team? You've taken pains to separate us. You feeding them the same spiel? This question had been tormenting my mind ever since we had appeared in the labyrinth. Yet there was no need for concern. I knew we had arrived here together, which meant they were most likely wandering in other dimensions of the labyrinth. So you say. But everything I've encountered down here, it's all been you, hasn't it? Why? What do you want from me? I did not dwell on the question for long, for someone had once earnestly promised to watch my every step, even beyond the ship that sank in the predatory forests. Oh, of course, you're the spawn of the Tyrant Star. The very one I encountered aboard Shaltis's Valor, probably. I very clearly remember that. That is a thing that definitely happened. The grin on your reflection's face grows monstrously wide. So wide it seems the skin of its face might split. I knew I was mistaken, for the thing that had toyed with me so skillfully had come not from some cursed orb in the sky, but from the depths of a far more ancient source. I had underestimated my own significance as the favorite plaything of a being so ancient and subtle. Oh, well, that's intriguing. That would imply that we're actually dealing with two separate eldritch entities. The Tyrant Star and something else. Whatever lurks beneath the oceans of Sibelius. Yeah, and modest and humble, too. Well, as generous as your offer might be, I think I'll politely decline. You've been trying to trick and manipulate me ever since you first brought me here, so why would I start trusting you now? I remained a foolish, shallow mortal after all, and I came to regret it soon enough. Hey, there's our team. I am glad you joined us. I was starting to lose my composure. Warning. Critical energy levels of unknown origin detected by full Auspex array. The servo auger hovers almost right up to you. The green-eyed skull twitches as it struggles to analyze something imperceptible to your eyes. Thank the Emperor. Is everyone all right? Servo Ossuarium multi-modular construct is operating in standard functioning mode. No blasphemous interference with its integrity detected. Okay, not who I was talking to, but good to know. Thanks. I'm fine, but I'll be better when we make it out of here. I would describe my physical condition as adequate. As for my mental state, I'd rather not comment. Fully upper... all good, Commander. Good to hear. Though I note that Sorrow and Rakti did not chime in. Alright, what do we know, people? I'm sure we've all been seeing different things, so... fill me in. Access to the data repositories of the Bastion Serpentis is currently unavailable. The Servo Ossuarium's data crypt does not contain a comprehensive description of the incoming data. Note, based on the observed reaction of the group's organic components, the Acolyte's retinue appears incapable of perceiving the energy under discussion. Most holy God Emperor, fill me with the strength to overcome, conquer, and triumph over the forces of corruption. Grant me the resolve to ward off this bane, and to give battle to your enemies with a fury and determination that glorify your sacred name. Sorrow mutters his prayer, staring off into space. Yeah, likewise. Alright, guess we just keep pushing forward. Strong recommendation for the Acolyte, formulated for circumstances similar to the current ones. Quoting, verify the integrity of your mortal shell and the condition of your equipment. Offer praise to the God Emperor and proceed with the mission. From Instructional Notes for Acolytes by Inquisitor Clarissa Narden. I smell trouble in the air. We should be cautious. And that's everyone. Alright, let's move, people. Pict recorder activated. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a lot of conspicuously armed corpses. And that would be why. Okay, so obviously the corpses will reanimate. Yeah, this guy's working all the angles, isn't he? For the moment, at least, they appear to be dormant. Let's get a gander at the big guy. Bone Warden. Psi Dome Defense. Immune to any damage dealt from outside of the Psi Dome. At the start of each turn, the Acolyte and their allies suffer damage and morale loss. So we can damage it if we get inside the dome. Resurrection. After 4 units end their turn, Bone Warden establishes a connection with up to 8 corpses. If the corpses are destroyed before that, Bone Warden instead makes 6 attacks against random targets. Expulsion. The Bone Warden drags up to 8 corpses to itself and concentrates. After 3 units end their turn, it launches the corpses towards the Acolyte and their allies. Psi Dome again. With conditional removal. Okay, interesting. Right. So, if it doesn't control corpses right after it uses Corpse Rain, or if all of us are inside the dome. Good to know. Corpse Rain. At the start of the next round, Bone Warden uses the Corpse Rain ability. On impact, each corpse deals from 80 to 100 damage to each unit within 2 cells. Also, Corpse Column. Bone Warden can establish a connection with selected corpses, cannot move or be moved, cannot be demoralized, cannot be disrupted. Okay, I think we've got a good general idea of what this thing does. And given what we just read, yeah, it feels like we need to get our guys into that dome as quickly as possible. Though we'll also see about clearing cadavers en route. I mean, in theory, if nothing else, Ra'akti should be able to insta-kill 2 or 3 around. Her bird, Yuka, has that instant kill talent, which should trigger if they only have 2 hit points each. Pretty sure that effect ignores armor, which we might be able to leverage to our advantage. Between her and Hamar, we might actually be able to force it to drop its shield early if we destroy all the corpses it connects to. Though we'll have to play that by ear, see how it works out for us. You know, failing that, we'll try to rush Cog in as quickly as possible. Take a multifaceted approach. Well, that was quick. Okay, so I'd say those are... Oh, shoot, okay. So not only did it bond with... Oh, interesting. Okay, so it bonded with some, but it activated others. Or... No, the tendrils are clearly connected to both. Nice. So Yuka does auto-kill the ones at 2 hit points. So that is up to 3 per round. Oh, and look at that. No head. Just like the corpses we saw back at the platform puzzle. Nice. We'll have her hang back. Yuka automatically attacks the closest target at the start of her turns. So we want to make sure that's one of the crystallized corpses. A peony up next. Not really sure how much she's going to be able to contribute on this one, but we'll try to get her right up on the column. Tag a few corpses en route. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yep, did not realize that you were a threat. Noted. Noted for the future. Yeah, I don't really see us clearing out corpses fast enough for that to be viable. It launches after 4 of us go, which means right after Sorrow. Though we will still clear a few more. If nothing else, it'll reduce the number of projectiles. Nice, nice. Though that is way more than 8 connections, so I guess the only ones it actually launches are the ones that are tangibly hovering in midair. Oh, so close. Oh, also, Sorrow's on fire. Not sure when that happened. But that does, unfortunately, immediately limit our options. Oh, right, because some of the crystal mooks have flamers, right? Right. So no blaze weaving, but we can still use Firestorm, since we have the perk that lets that ignore friendly fire. One out. Which I think just leaves us with the one projectile. Yeah, yep, confirmed. It only throws the floating ones at us. The rest are just there to engage in more conventional combat. Which obviously doesn't mean they're not also a threat. Just that they serve a slightly different purpose. Alright, okay, so let's see if we can clear a few more corpses on approach. We'll fire through this cluster here. Oh, I see. If we take out one of the ambulatory corpses, then it immediately becomes recrystallized. Okay, not the result I was hoping for, but good to know. Yeah, so I think it is in our best interest to just kind of book it straight for the big guy. Oh, come on, Cog. That was the biggest attack. Alright. Yes, and that explains why half our guys are on fire, and why I didn't notice. Because although they have flamers, it doesn't seem like they play the actual animation when they attack, so I must have just overlooked it. Keep pushing up, keep clearing corpses. Could we reasonably kill one of these guys? Like, if Ra'akti can one-shot them, would you could then swoop down and kill them once they were encased? Yes, nice. Also, I didn't linger on it, but the ones being actively controlled as combatants have crystals where their head should be. Which does make sense. I mean, that does lean into the idea that all the entities we interacted with earlier were all being controlled by a single central entity. Except possibly the workers. Still not sure about them. You know, much like the visions of our companions, that might have been more memory than perverse puppet show. Though in retrospect, I now also realize encountering those workers did not actually update our clue board. The only things in here that have are the semicircular depressions and the other half of the tech priest. Which, you know, could just be an oversight in the alpha, but could also mean that those were just more elaborate illusions. Sex exploit plus a free precise attack. Yeah, we can use that. Headshot. I assume that's a more or less equivalent effect. Nice. Free Firestorm only hits the one. Siphon Life? Does that ignore armor? It does not. That's fine. He's not in the danger zone just yet. Oh, shoot. Scratch that. We're all in the danger zone now. Torso injury on Ra'akti. So it activated the rest, but it did not prepare them for launch. Alright, let's see if we can maybe clear this column. Might be too close to Ra'akti. Oh, actually. Well, shoot, that doesn't line up the way I'd hoped it would at all. Yeah, that wasn't great. We just gotta get you on the big guy. Which is tricky because you're also our slowest character, so maybe we need to pull a peony back so she can tag you with a combat stem. Or hopefully Cog can land more hits. Yeah, that's better. Though it still definitely leaves us a ways to go. Oh gosh. Ra'akti is getting torn up out there. Oh. I see. Well, this is less than ideal. Oh, but the side dome is down. Okay, let's get everyone on the column. Just gotta make sure we stay out of the strike zones. It technically has a head. Technically, it has several. Alright, a peony, let's get you clear. Was gonna dose up Seymore, but at this point we just have to get all hands on deck. Hey, nice. And we're on fire. Well, good. I'm glad. Let's get Seymore clear. Which, as an added bonus, will also get him out towards our big bad. Oof, Sorrow, you are not doing great, buddy. We'll get you patched. Also, Siphon? Yeah, that's just not really a great move. I mean, that one actually did hit health, but only restored 2 points, so really doesn't feel like it's worth it. Seymore. I would like you to shoot at the pillar, but I'm not sure you're going to have clear line of sight. Yeah, that's not going to work. Oh, goodness, no. Nope, we're definitely not risking that. Oh, man. All right, grenade? Oh, wow. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, after Rogue Trader, that is way more effective than I thought it would be. And kill shot. This has no chance for friendly fire. Fantastic. Which means Cog can hopefully get the kill. Come on, bud, just gotta land one hit. You've got this, man. Though, you know, just in case you don't. Out of the blast zone. Okay, and good thing, because it's still got that one last salvo off. Oh, level up, nice. Though, unfortunately, I think we're also right up against the end of the alpha. So I'm not sure that's even really worth assigning. We'll see how much more we've got. If it looks like we've got more ahead of us, then I'll figure out what we're doing with those. Otherwise, we won't worry about it. Honestly, same with this gear we're grabbing. I imagine this is all vendor trash anyway, though there are some potential items of note. Alright, not seeing much else of note. Just assorted gear. What about you? You must first submit your case report using the Inquisitorial Journal. Right, which does seem like a very strong sign that we're pretty much done. Though I imagine the full launch campaign will likely have a more organic end to our investigation for this region. Does make me wonder what would have happened if we had come here first, as opposed to, doing all that stuff with the Kroot. Would we have just missed the entire Kroot investigation? Oh, I see. Okay. So ultimately, all that investigating basically just boils down to unlocking the various conclusions, which you then slot into your report. Interesting. And I mean, we never actually did get confirmation on what happened to the workers. I mean, we found the one in the Flock Sanctuary. But ultimately, I think more abstractly, we could just as easily blame the Night Lords, because they're the ones who technically did cause all of this. Minus the Elder God stuff, I suppose. It does seem weird that we can't bring up the whole thing with, like, Mardo and Zareb? Assuming that was real, and also that those were, in fact, the excavation workers. Which we also don't know. I mean, there's a lot of questions we still don't have answers for. Yeah, we'll just go Night Lords, I suppose. I mean, we already wiped out the flock anyway. Oh, yeah, I guess we should also file our other report. With our options being Flesh Shaper U'ir Tick, the Baron, the Tick Clan, Hunter Scrahat, the Solitary Kroot, or War Shaper Croic Tick. And ultimately, logically, I feel like the most likely culprit is the Flesh Shaper, though we never did confirm whether or not they were sporting a fresh burn. We only suspected they might have been burned based on the stiffness of their movement. I don't think it was the War Shaper, but also at the same time, clearly that's the person who we would benefit the most from getting rid of, given their innate hostility towards humans. Honestly, I kind of wish we could blame it on someone like the Ferals, an unrelated third party to use as a scapegoat, so as to avoid any potential splashback on the Kroot. Since there's no guarantee that even if we do choose someone specific, like the Flesh Shaper or the War Shaper, that the Inquisition would solely target them for reprisal. But, again, this is just an alpha, so I mean, we can afford to take a chance. We'll go with War Shaper Croic and see how that works. Then we'll know going into the inevitable full launch series later down the line. Okay, for better or worse, I think we're crystal clear. Also worth noting, I'm seeing 8 case slots here. Though I will also say that feels like it's too few. The alpha is only half of Act 1, so that would seem to imply that we've got at least 12, assuming 4 per act, plus whatever's in the prologue. Oh, we have to go check in with Millicentilia now. Okay. So, even though we pointed the finger at Croic, perhaps this will allow us to then propose the recruitment, which might spare the rest of his tribe. Oh, or we might immediately find out what happens. I guess that's also a possibility. When the disappearances in the Merisportum Sectoris stopped, the Hab Zone's pious denizens gave thanks to the God Emperor for his mercy, and met the news of the impending seaquake with unflinching dignity. Uniting in the face of the disaster, they built floating platforms from refuse, clay minerals, and the remnants of infrastructure, thus surviving yet another catastrophe. Hey, good for them. I'm going to say that's almost certainly the good ending to this particular investigation. And on the trail, the name of Agent Rufinus Scragg was added to the roll of faithful servants of the Golden Throne upon the memorial monolith of the Bastion Serpentis. Despite the seismic aquatic phenomena in the Merisportum Sectoris, a combat acolyte detachment of the Ordo Xenos descended into the Hab Zone to settle the fate of the Xenos clan responsible for the death of Agent Scragg. Right. Yeah, that tracks. That's precisely what I was afraid of. Because why else would they specify that you should go talk to her right after? So is that it? Are we done? We are indeed. And thus, our Alpha adventure comes to an end. And you know what? I've got to say, as evidenced by the fact that I stuck around and actually went through the whole thing, I like it. You know, honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like it is a very tangible step up from Rogue Trader, and I liked Rogue Trader too. I really enjoyed the new investigation system. I feel like they've hit a much better balance with combat, though some of the special combat victory conditions feel like they might be a bit too obtuse, perhaps. Some of those fights might drag out a little too long. But, you know, that's stuff they can balance out, and also obviously varies by individual taste. I do feel like there's some improvements they could make here and there. It did feel weird at times because obviously there were things that felt like clues that we picked up that did not reflect in our clue board. I would like to be able to find out a more conclusive truth, regardless of who we end up pointing the finger at. I feel like towards the end of both investigations, they sort of deliberately held back just to try to keep things nebulous. Especially with the missing workers. It really felt like we were just ignoring clues towards the end just for the sake of not getting a conclusive answer. But who knows, you know, perhaps in the full game, when you click on that final crystal, it'll teleport you back out to the ruins and you'll be standing knee-deep in worker corpses, which will, in fact, give you a more definitive conclusion to whodunit. But, you know, that said, I'm obviously pretty happy with the conclusion we got. Blaming it on the Night Lord certainly seems to have worked out for the folks of Merisportum. I suppose the other thing I'd probably quibble about a bit is that I really enjoyed the investigation, but it definitely felt like it came out of left field towards the end there. When we just went full Call of Cthulhu, when we went full Eldritch Intervention. But at the same time, I suppose narratively it did make sense, especially given the connections to the prologue, which we never got to play, so, you know, it would have probably felt more natural if we had. Since, of course, then we would have seen the signs. But, you know, such is the downside to playing these sorts of vertical slices, these self-contained alphas. That said, really not much else to say. I mean, obviously I very much enjoyed this. Not sure we're going to do too much with the beta, not after playing 21 episodes of the alpha, but maybe. Though we will definitely revisit the game once we hit full launch, because I'd love to see the game once it's further along. In fact, feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below, both what you thought about the alpha, and whether you think we should check out the beta as well, or wait for full launch. I mean, either way, we are definitely coming back to this one at some point. Well, I certainly do still have some misgivings about the general excessive grimdarkness of the setting. I've got to say, this game definitely falls right in my wheelhouse. So, whether it's the beta or for full launch, I guess I'll see you then. Oh, and special thanks to the raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to EREV23, Revenant, Alois, Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.